Nancy Guthrie disappeared on February 1st, the wee hours of morning. Since then, the Pima County Sheriff have been handling this case related to the 84-year-old grandmother ripped out of her bed. They have made no declaration of a suspect, a vehicle, a route taken to remove her out of that community, or where she may be. But what we do know is that Chris NANOS has duck-bobbed and weaved questioning related to this case. He has 86 legitimate journalists just trying to find information because he deemed their commentary negative to him and therefore refuses to speak to them. This is not the way any law enforcement body should be conducting themselves. We have this as well as some updates on other cases we have been covering. We're going to be breaking those down this morning on the Bullhorn Betty channel. So welcome, guys. Come on in, sit down, grab your cup of joe, and let's get started.
Bullhorn Betty rocks.
So come on in, guys. Say hi to the fam, and let's chat.
Coffee steaming, files on the table. We clocking early, hunt what's unstable. Bullhorn Betty on the curb, voice raised. Flip-flop queen with the homemade phrase. Notebook thick, got the screenshots flag. Names in red ink, every rumor, every tag. Late night live stream, screen glow on her face. Truth in her throat, got a lawman's pace. She don't blink when the threats roll through. Come see me, she says, if you think that's cute. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that they gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we get that justice. Insane Asylum, that's our crew nickname. Laugh so loud while we track these names. Whiteboard wild with the webs we spin. Pen to pen, see the pattern sink in. Turmo shaking when the case goes cold. We stir it back up, won't do what we're told. Doorstep question, side eye stare. Where were you that night? We hanging right there. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that they gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we get that justice. This for the faces on the milk cart labels. This for the families praying at tables. This for the names that the news won't say. We say them out loud every single day. Every day. If you're running in the dark, better feel that fear. Betty got a bullhorn right in your ear. Coffee club crazy, but we think so clear. One small town, whole world gonna hear. Hey! Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that the day gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we take red
I probably just blew your eardrums out with that. I usually do it from over here, and I took it and put it right up to this. Just making sure everybody's up this beautiful Monday. Happy Manic Monday, y'all. It's nice to see you. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. My weekend was pretty soggy yesterday. We delayed our live stream because it was pretty torrential downpour and thundering and lightning. And finally, when it looked like it was tapering off, we decided to go live. And we've got a little more information than we do. Please don't forget, this is the week we're starting out with our 2 shows, very, very specific shows. We're doing our Nancy Guthrie updates and breaking news. We've got other things that we're going to talk about before we get started on our main topic, which is Nancy Guthrie and, of course, Chris NANOS avoiding major questions. We've got questions about the guy. The second, we've got two assailants off the street that were attributed or associated with Carlos Ramirez, I think is what his name was. I could be wrong with his last name, but he was the officer recruit that they had. He was just about to graduate his academy training. Him and his fiance and his child were inside a home. The two people pulled up in gas and ski masks, kicked in their door allegedly, and murdered the recruit, and of course shot his fiance in the shoulder. And she was a correction officer at the Pima County Sheriff's Department, and I believe he was too before he was going for law enforcement training to work for Tucson Police Department. So he was going to be a rookie had he survived, but all of this was done in front of his small child, and that is just, there's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that. I've got it. Yeah, I've got it pulled up. We're just not there yet. I've got it. I saw it this morning. So I'll be talking about that, Karen. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. So we've got some updates before we dive into the Nancy Guthrie case. Updates on some cases that we have watched. And one of those is Carmelo, right? Carmelo, he requested a new trial, and that was denied. So Carmelo's got a lot of sitting and waiting to do. Also, Clancy, what was her name? Why am I having Lindsay Clancy? I just drew a blank. Sorry about that, guys. Closed. So the defense has rested. So usually how it goes, the prosecution, presents their case, and then the defense gets to tear their case apart and shred it up. So this marks the end of the defense. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I haven't really covered this case because I'm not sure how I feel about this entire case. I feel like there were a lot of different things that caused this case to be the case that it is. From her mental health stance to her husband's just not giving a crap to all of these doctors just shoveling pills down her throat. I think it was a combination of everything that had this woman completely break. People want to say that, a lot of these mothers are nefarious. I mean, we see nefarious moms, okay? We see Jaden Spicer's mom. We see Katie Proudfoot. We see Candace Bly. We know terrible moms. Is this one where she was so suicidal that she wanted to take her kids with her and completely in her right mind and knew what she was doing was wrong and still carried it out? Is it possible she did that? Of course it is. Of course it is. But one of the reasons why I'm not following this is because I feel like I will upset people with my position on it. Listen, your brain functions your whole entire body, even how you perceive information. Okay? Yeah, when you have a non-sick mind, you don't. Susan Smith is different, Sweet Caroline, in my opinion. She had an affair with another man that did not want children. She wanted to have that relationship with that man, and her children were standing in the way. Much different dynamics than what we're dealing with here. We're not dealing with an affair here. We're not dealing with another person here. We're dealing with a woman that had even turned herself into inpatient treatment. Inpatient. I mean, she stayed at the hospital for inpatient treatment. You saw a woman struggling and trying to figure out what was going on with her. At least that's what it looks like to me. I don't know what her true mentality was, and that's why I haven't covered this case, because, God forgive me if I am wrong. And, this monster murdered 3 of her beautiful babies because she was angry with her husband. I would never, ever, ever want to take up for a monster. But you got to understand, when you have a sick brain, when your brain is sick, when it's and when you can't sleep and it distorts and disorients, people don't understand that have never had a sick brain. Okay, I am discussing this because I truly believe the medications could have changed her, and people are like, but she nobody could tell me to kill my kids. You don't understand a sick brain. When your brain is short-circuiting, the perception of what death is different. Okay, your brain teaches you everything, so when it's scrambled up, it could theoretically, murder is bad, living, or murder is good, living is bad. Okay, it could perceive that way in your brain. So again, I don't know what we're dealing with here. Was she truly sick or not? I haven't watched this case. It highly bothers me, as you guys can imagine, because of the age of these children. It disgusts me seeing all those women out there supporting this lady, not knowing. I'm sorry, but I'm not there where she should have all these women out there wearing pink for her. Okay, that's kind of a little extra for me in a situation like this. Okay, just letting you guys know. But it has definitely been very difficult for me to personally cover this case because of the situation and how concerned I am about the medication, because I do believe a deluded brain, a messed up brain, could be convinced to do something stupid. I absolutely do believe it. I believe that the brains can change your perception of a lot of things when it's sick. And having 30 medications, 12 or 13 that she was actively taking at 35 years old, all of a sudden, that's just, it doesn't make sense. You know what I also learned before I play this video? I also learned that 1 in 5 Americans are on some pharmaceutical. They've got us hooked. We're looking at like Hayden Panettiere, right? And we look at her and we hear her story. We hear her. What do? It's no different. They are pimping us out for profit. Every time we go to a doctor, it's like, we need this, we need this, we need this. Normal behavior, you being upset because something bad happened to you, is no longer normal. You need a pill for that. I'm sorry. Big Pharma is too involved in this case for me to sit back and say, I truly believe that this woman wanted her kids gone. I just don't believe that. Good morning, Monday morning, beautiful Betty, gorgeous mods and beans. Thank you, Miss Robin. Thank you, Love Bug. We love it, love it, love it. We're going to get to I know everybody's looking at our goal and like, what the heck? We're going to get there. We are going to get there. Don't freak out. We will get there. We'll get there. So here's the statements. We are going to get into Nancy Guthrie, but I feel that we have some updates here, some probative updates that each of you guys are probably watching, and I don't want you guys to miss these updates because we're just covering only, Nancy Guthrie.
Your Honor, Lindsay Clancy rests her case.
All right. So, members of the jury, the defense has now rested its case. All right. So I'm going to talk to counsel for a minute or so over here. And we're about to go into the next phase of this case. It would be the Commonwealth is offered and given the opportunity to offer rebuttal witnesses on certain issues. And so I'm going to talk to counsel first, and I'll inquire of the Commonwealth if they wish to offer these rebuttal witnesses. Okay.
And there's also some things that I saw in this case, but I didn't see it in complete context, so I'm not sure. And then we've got Brooke Hanlon we've been covering. The husband breaks his silence. This is an article that many of you guys will not get on your own unless you are subscribed to Daily Mail. The Bullhorn Betty channel is incorporating some publications into our show, so the channel is purchasing some publications so we don't miss any information. And the first publication that we have put on our books here for the Bullhorn Betty channel is the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail, I've been working, I've been at a lot of cases from the side of the road, right? You guys used to watch here. We used to be reporting from the scenes of the crimes and basically setting up shop at whatever case we've decided that's going to be where our focus is going to be. Well, just about every case I'm at, I see one of the cameramen for Daily Mail. They're literally everywhere. They have and they're willing to go the extra mile to get the shot. So I like their tenacity, and so I figured this would be a great. And they have some great articles, so I thought this would be another one's Daily Beast, but I'm not really, and then I'm thinking about if the Wall Street Journal continues to spit out some of this true crime stuff instead of finances, we might even subscribe to the Wall Street Journal, depending on how well their articles, I have been dying, based on the title of their articles, I have literally been dying to read some of the Wall Street Journal articles, but I can't find them anywhere, on a free platform. So it's not for us to get on the Wall Street Journal just yet. We just incorporated this publication. Hopefully in the future, we'll be able to, start working on other publications. But I thought this was interesting. Brooke Hanlon. Many of us, we covered this case, this is the psychotherapist, young mom, was stabbed to death in her house. And this was when I heard the 911 call of the husband, it reminded me so much of the case of Ellen Greenberg in Pennsylvania about the boyfriend. It's like, there's got to be blood everywhere. And they're like, oh, she's unconscious. Oh my gosh, she's got a gash on her throat. It's like, it just doesn't fit for me, folks. It just doesn't fit. So I naturally believe Brooke's husband is going to have some culpability here. He's trying to push, but she's being a psychotherapist, probably puts just about every single one of her clients as a potential person of interest as well. So they've got their work cut out for them in this case. But again, her husband, Connor, made a statement here. So I'm just going to read what we have here. This is from her husband. This is a New Jersey case. If you're from New Jersey and you have more details than I have on this, please start sending those to me because I am monitoring this case. We just don't have a whole lot of information on this case to keep it going, to find things to talk about. It's not being it's high ranking, but it's not a viral case. So my heart is totally shattered, Connor, 36, told Daily Mail in an exclusive interview Friday when approached by the Chester Township home he shared with Brooke and their baby daughter, Avery, before she was murdered in the upstairs bedroom. So he's still staying there when she was murdered? There is no way. I'm sorry. There's just no way. I couldn't. So is that what it says, Connor, the Daily exclusive interview Friday when approached at Chester Township home where he shared with Brooke. So he must be staying in the same home that his wife was murdered in. I don't know if I could do that. When asked about the rumors that he might have had something to do with Brooke's death, he shook his head. Of course not, he said, looking somber but calm as he stood in the driveway of his house. It's a tragedy. He refers to it as it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy? This is not a tragedy. This was preventable. This was a homicide. A tragedy almost implies an accident or, a medical event. But far from is this yes summary. It is. It's Brooke. But to use the word it's a tragedy, that does not fit with me at all. I don't like Connor. I can tell you, I think he murdered his wife. Okay. I think he's the only person with motive, means, and opportunity. She had just had a baby. Who else would be pissed off at her to put that many knife wounds in her? That's a crime of passion. They got in a fight. She probably told him she's leaving and he lost his shit. Or she caught him in an affair and he lost his shit. Either way, I truly believe this man here lost his shit. I know nothing about the case. Well, we're learning little by slow. To be honest with you, we don't know. None of us really know too much about this case. All we know is this beautiful young psychotherapist that was just a newly mom, right? Just had, what was her baby? Not even 6 months old, 6 months, somewhere around there. And then in her bedroom, in the middle of the day, I think it's in the middle of the day. This is not one done in the middle of the night. I think this was in the middle of the day. Somebody goes into her house and just stabs her to death in her bedroom, doesn't steal anything, doesn't take anything, so clearly the only objective was murdering her. Why would anybody want to murder a newly mom psychotherapist? You know, especially with as many stab wounds as she had. I think she had multiple. I'll look up, but we'll get some things. I'm just going to give you guys an update, and then we'll get some new information. Maybe I'll do a quick little video on her case, so we'll have it for an intro of it. But Connor repeatedly said that he didn't want to comment any further due to ongoing investigation and refused to answer questions about possible suspect. I just can't, he said. Connor was not seen at all in the weeks after his wife's murder, spawning all sorts of rumors in the Chester Township community. Yeah, because look at him. Like this guy right here, to me, is he capable of homicide? You bet your ass he is. Who isn't? Who isn't? I can tell you every single one of you are capable of a homicide that are in my chat. Every last one of you. It just takes the right ingredients. Every last one of you could be a homicidal maniac if you guys so chose. But in recent days, Connor have been turning up regularly at Pottersville Road home he shared with Brooke and has been spending the night there. That's just twisted. Didn't what was that guy's name? Didn't that one guy, I see his name, didn't he do that? The one that murdered his 3 girls and his wife? Was it 3 girls or 2 girls? Why can't I think of his name? He was a good-looking guy, too. And he's about to get married in jail. Why am I running a blank? Why is my brain going boom, 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 chugga-lugga-lugga-lugga? And I know as soon as you guys say it, I'm going to be like, yes, that's the name. Why can't it come out? Why can't it come out? Do you guys know who I'm speaking about? It was just recent. He was just, he had a pickup truck, pencil. Chris Watts, that's it. I knew as soon as I heard the name. Yes. Yep, Watts. It's Watts. That's the one I'm thinking, Chris Watts. This guy reminds me, like his behavior at the house kind of reminds me of Chris Watts, no? But in recent days, Connor has been turning up regularly at the Pottersville home where he shared with Brooke and has been spending the night there. Didn't Chris Watts stay in his home too? That's just creepy. Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Crimecast, it's nice to see you. I guess we can take a segue here. Let me find it. I think it's this one. Nope, that's not it. Oops, that's not it. There it is. Guys, as many of you know, we had a huge upset, a huge loss in our true crime community. Mr. and Mrs. E Crimecast has been doing true crime that I've known of since Sebastian Rogers went missing, which is what we're collecting funds for, which is going to dive into why we have our goal set so high today. We have something coming up. But tomorrow night, they're going to be remembering Middle E, and we're all, as a true crime community, going to be going over there and supporting this beautiful family. If you don't know about Cole, he lost his life. I guess you guys have him as Middle E now. Sorry. Middle E, if you guys don't know how Middle E lost his life, he had cancer, an aggressive brain cancer, and he excuse my language, but he gave it hell. But his battle was, I guess you could look at it as the battle was won and not won. I don't know how you want to present it, but we definitely have a big hole. I know that we love the E family. We have befriended the E family. Cole, okay. Sorry about that, but I try to be respectful because I know why we did that when we kind of showed your names and stuff like that. It was for the prayers and stuff like that. So, but we're all asking everybody to come and join in with this community and just uplifting the family in fellowship and prayers. So it's good to see you guys. I know where I'm going to be. I'm going to be there supporting you. So we love you. God bless you. Also, this is the case that had me arrested. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So we have been raising money through a multitude of ways, through Gibson Pro, our Gibson Go. We have our fundraiser there. Miss Sonia has been preparing shirts for sale. Every shirt she sells, there is a portion of the shirt's proceeds that go to our legal fund. And Miss Andrea, again, another beautiful soul that we met through the Sebastian Rogers case. Again, how we met the E family. Andrea is one of our beloved friends that we've also befriended out there in Tennessee, and she is just a doll. And since we've befriended each other, she has since started her own channel called the Sunshine Traveling. Is it Sunshine Traveling Seniors? Traveling Sunshine Seniors. I'm gonna get it. Sunshine Traveling Seniors, and their dog Banjo sponsored a care package from Miss Sonia. It is a nice care package too. Is this? And there it is. You can get whatever design you want. Let me get my big old booty out of here. And it's a bag, a shirt, and a cup. So you are raffling a bag, a shirt, or a cup. So if you guys would like to participate in this raffle, it is $50. So whoever raises, help us raise $50. All of you guys are going into a little wheel, and then she's going to turn the wheel, and whoever wins gets this package. So they thought it would be a great way for us to try to help raise some legal expenses. So that's what we're doing. Absolutely. And Absolutely. And we absolutely will be here. Let me go ahead and put this in the chat. And I know Karen has put this in the chat throughout this morning. So let me go ahead and put this in the chat. There you go. If you guys would like to be there with us. The coffee club, I'm pretty confident, will show up in force for the true crime, the crime dogs. Because again, this is part of our family. It's part of our Sebastian Rogers family. And lastly, we have our publications here on Substack that we are rolling out. I've got another article. I'm just not ready to roll it out. I was trying to get it done before the show, but it's a lot of work. So it's not quite ready yet. So hopefully after today's show, I'll have it out within another hour. I think it's going to take me an hour or so because I don't have, this is a new computer. I don't have all of my photos on this computer. They were on the MacBook Pro. But guys, guess what? I opened OBS like that on this computer. I didn't have to wait 20 minutes for it to finally open and then try to decide whether or not it was going to work or we're going to have technical issues. It just works. It just works on the Windows. And this is a cheap computer compared to what I paid for that. So I'm just very, very, very happy. Again, there you guys go. Middle E. We love the crime dogs. We love the crime family. We love the crime family. We love the Crime Cast family. So it's nice. I hope you guys are doing well as well as you can be. And I hope the tree is growing. We still need to get together I've talked to the Real Me Too a couple times about the plaque, but we've just held off until you guys are ready. So just let us know when you're ready. And we're ready to order. We just need to figure out what beautiful photo you want on it, and then we'll get you guys the plaque for the tree. Anyways, we love you guys. We love you guys. We wish we could hug you to pieces. Hug you to pieces. So hopefully all you guys can stay there. So Carmelo, no trial. The defense rests in Lindsay Clancy's case. Obviously, the husband has an attorney, very concerning there. I don't see where it could be anybody else. And which one's this one? Is this Mike? Is this Drummond? This is Austin Drummond. Austin Drummond. This is a quadruple homicide, and he's really trying to present that he was an informant, and somehow that gave him or entitled him to murder four people, including that included a 15-year-old teenage boy that was barely $150 soaking wet. I mean, or probably not even $1.20 soaking wet. I mean, just a little guy. So all these people were murdered by him, and he's trying to say it had something to do with his the tree is still a baby. Might be a while before it's big enough for a plaque. Okay.
Some close to Austin Drummond speaking out with an explosive claim tonight that this Lake County quadruple homicide was preventable, and that if Drummond had been
very interesting
when he was warned his
very
cover
interesting
was blown,
stuff.
4 people would still be alive. This comes as new court filings from Drummond alleged he once worked with investigators and prosecutors as a confidential informant before he was charged with capital murder. Action News 5's Michaela Redmond live in the newsroom tonight, breaking down, Michaela, what's in this filing and why this friend says the public still doesn't know the whole story.
Joy, the latest filing is one of Drummond's biggest requests yet, asking the judge to remove Lake County District Attorney Danny Goodman and the entire 29th Judicial District Attorney's Office from prosecuting his case. A close friend of Drummond says it's all an effort to make sure he gets a fair trial and his voice is heard.
100% prevented.
4 family members dead. A capital murder case moving closer to trial. Now, a close friend of Austin Drummond's claims it never had to happen.
It's so horrible to come to that realization. Had there been more action taken on the district attorney's side with that other case, we would have 4 people that are alive and very well.
That friend says she speaks to Drummond every day through jail phone calls. She asked not to be identified, afraid her phone privileges could be revoked.
This is his life. His life is on the line.
Her comments come after Drummond filed a 29-page handwritten motion from prison. In it, Drummond claims he had a working relationship with prosecutors and investigators as an informant in a multi-agency investigation involving state and federal law enforcement, attaching emails, letters, and text messages describing the agreement that his friend says stems from 2 separate incidents while Drummond was previously in prison.
Austin came
He should have
forward
never
to
been
his
out.
handlers more than once and said, I'm getting nervous. I think my cover is blown. They would have pulled him out, but they didn't. And they should have pulled him out when they found out a 15-year-old was involved.
And we're probably going to find out none of this was true, or a portion of it was true. Oh, Marissa, did something happen? We're sorry. Whatever you lost. Let me just go up here. Did I miss something? Oh, that's right. That's right. Oh, we're sorry about that. We're sorry for your loss.
Drummond also wants District Attorney Danny Goodman and his office blocked from prosecuting the capital case.
I don't think he's going to have a strong enough argument for that. We've got a couple other things. Maybe I'll wait until... This is another case we covered here. This was really brutal. They literally, it was a 16-year-old girl. Him and his girlfriend ended up hurting her, thinking she stole some jewelry or something like that, and murdering her and dumping her in a Hillsborough County dumpster. They did find her, and he has since pled guilty to the teen girl's kidnapping and murder. 37-year-old man pleads guilty to first-degree murder and kidnapping in connection with the March 2025 death of a 16-year-old girl that he and his co-defendant met on Grindr. The witness contacted them on March 6, 2025, and said they had information about the missing teen who had been previously kidnapped and killed. The investigators found that Miranda Corset, 16, had met Steve Gress on a dating app, Grindr, and Michelle Brandes, 38, ended up killing her. So he has since pled guilty. We only covered this case like maybe 1 or 2 days last year in March, and just wanted to give you an update on that. The other ones can wait until later. And death penalty. This was interesting. It's political, but we'll go over that next. 11-month-old infant dead. Father arrested on. Yeah, that's it. And then there we go. I figured that would make your day right there. That's kind of the way we feel about the Sebastian Rogers case. And we have gone through all of our fundraisings right now for the legal expenses there. And then, of course, Mr. and Mrs. E, remembering middle E. Thank you to our amazing community, and we'll all be there for you. All right, guys. So now comes the time where we are going to be going back to Miss Nancy Guthrie. Thank you for bearing with me. I know that was quite long, but we don't get our breaking news very often on this channel unless it's breaking news about this specific case. So I wanted to give you guys some updates because we've gotten away from a few cases, and those cases are still ongoing, even with Nancy Guthrie's case going on. So we just wanted to make sure that we took a few moments and got updated on those cases. We will be talking about Hayden Panettiere. We have a lot to say about that case here on this show. It's not really, at least to the best of my knowledge, at this point, a homicide investigation or any foul play associated with it, but we are domestic violence as well as violence type of advocates on these platforms, including child abuse advocates. So with what we hear about Hayden Panettiere and knowing that we've been watching her since she was a little girl on the big screen, and knowing what her handlers in Hollywood did to her and what her own mother and family did to her, it's something that we will eventually be discussing at length, because if it happened to her, it's happened. We've already known there's been a lot of young adults. There was a very ugly time in our history of Hollywood, and I'm applauding the fact that Hollywood is literally dying, and I hope it's dead. I hope it's dead. The stuff that we heard, that Corey Feldman has been screaming from the rooftops about what happened to him, and the other Corey that ended up falling victim to drugs and an untimely death. A lot of young actors in Hollywood were subjected to child sex crimes, period. They're adults now, but that baggage has carried with them all these years, and they had no outlet to express it, and they're not allowed to talk about it. And all of that stuff is bottled up while they just start spiraling out of control. At some point, they start realizing all of their hopes and dreams that they've wanted, the whole reason why they got into movies to begin with. Hayden Panettiere, don't think as a child she didn't think she was going to be a mom and have a beautiful house and a beautiful family, as a child. And when she finally made it, she looked around, and everything that she ever wanted as a child, she doesn't have. She just has money. She has money and she has fame, and those were everything she didn't care about. She wanted a life. She wanted a real mom. She wanted her daughter. And little by slow, the realization of who her life is and how she didn't even own her own life. She didn't even own her own life anymore. Everybody else told her where to go. Get up, do this, do that. She's never, ever, ever stood on her own from the age of 11 months old. She has been under, not even, her parents didn't even raise her. Hollywood did. She says she was groomed to be an actress. Groomed to be an actress. She used those words in her book, groomed to be an actress. Pretty interesting words. So we will be going over all of those cases and updating our other cases. And I think that we do need to have some real talk on this platform about Hollywood. You guys know my opinion about it for a very, very, very long time, about the Hollywood elites and how abusive they are to their own children. I mean, look at their children. Their children are just messed up. You don't get that from a loving household. I mean, occasionally you'll have a loving household and somebody that's just not right? But in Hollywood, it's more the rule. The kids are screwed up. The kids are royally screwed up. How can so many kids from all these rich people be so screwed up? They should be the most well-rounded individuals in America. They should have preparatory school. They should have etiquette school. They should have, they should be part of all of these things, keeping them busy. There should be no time for drugs. There should be no time for partying. They have more money than God out there. So why are all of their children being victims of crimes that have, because of laziness? Basically, drugs and stuff like that are things to do when you have nothing to do, when you're that age. So if the children were being active and had great role models, which they don't, because let's face it, everybody in Hollywood is essing and effing each other. It's disgusting. It's immoral. And they think it's fun. And they have parties, big elite parties where everybody's swinging from chandeliers and crap like that. That's Hollywood. That's no place for children. That's no place for children. Anyways, let's travel over to New York, where Savannah Guthrie is. Savannah Guthrie is the co-host, the second highest paid morning news anchor in America. She's the second highest paid morning news anchor in America. The first highest paid is Robin from ABC Morning Today Show. Excuse me, not Today Show, Good Morning America show. So Savannah Guthrie is the highest paid from NBC in America, and Robin is the highest paid with ABC in America. So Robin gets paid $1 million more than Savannah Guthrie. So they're their two highest paid anchors in America. And so that's who Savannah Guthrie is. So obviously when her mom was ripped out of her bed in the middle of the night by a masked gunman, that got a lot of people's attention. People automatically assumed it had something to do with her notoriety and her wealth. And it very well may be. We don't know. We have no idea what happened. But we've all been sitting here trying to figure out why nobody is talking when there's no suspect, no vehicle mention, no route of travel to leave. And now we're finding out that we have multiple days with videos of these assailants on them. And I'm going to say assailants because I think we finally confirmed at least 2 additional people on that property definitively. So it's no longer a single subject, as Chris Nanos has tried to pepper down our throat for the last 6 months. And that's going to be pretty much what my article is about today, right? I'm going to be dropping today about the second individual. So be on the Substack if you can. Be on the Substack if you can. The giveaway I had until the end of the day, but I don't think that is long enough. Okay. Well, I'm going to talk to you about that as well, because I think that we need to do it a different way, but we'll chat after this live. We'll chat after this live, okay? Fox and Friends must not pay their anchors very well. Well, I'm sure they are paying their anchors well, just not $25 million and $24 million a year respectively. So that's all. They're still millionaires, right? They're still millionaires, right? Even if you're not making $24 million, but you're only making $14 million, that's still a lot. That's still a lot. So at the end of the day, this is what we have. We have this 84-year-old grandmother that was with her oldest daughter and hit her and that side of the family earlier in the day on January 31st. She went over there about 5:30 in the afternoon. She stayed there until about 9:30 in the evening. By the time they're about 10 minutes or so away from her house. So by the time she got home, according to the records, the garage door went up at 9:48 and went down at 9:50. Everything seemed to be fine until her eldest daughter received a phone call from one of the churchgoers saying your mom never showed up and were concerned. So by the time they got over to the house, the way we're looking at it specifically, 11:56, according to the records, 11:56 is when they arrived at that home. So there's something there that captured the time that they arrived at the home, because they are saying that they arrived at 11:56. And by noon, they had law enforcement on the phone. By 12:15, law enforcement, the first responder to that house, had arrived around 12:15 on February 1st in the afternoon. And then we realized nobody wanted to call Chris Nanos because everybody was scared to call Chris Nanos, because Nanos is a douchebag that doesn't like to be bothered on the weekend, even though he's the sheriff. So people are scared to reach out to him in case of an emergency. That's pretty bad. Pretty terrible. And then we find out he didn't even show up to the property until 6 or 7 o'clock at night. And the plane had been grounded for 4 hours. So they're saying that the plane didn't even get up in the air until about 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the evening, about an hour or so before Chris Nanos was notified of this being a Guthrie. And still, even when he was told it was a Guthrie, he didn't even realize it was the Guthries. So, this has just been a hot mess express from that point forward. This has looked like a amateur hour in a criminal investigation, including leaving a whole bunch of much needed evidence on the outside of the front door where the blood was dripping out of the home. We had law enforcement that did not believe the blood dripping out of the home had anything to do with the missing lady. Not their infinite wisdom of being detectives, seasoned detectives, not one of them could realize that blood and a missing woman went together. I have never in my life met such stupidity before. And that stupidity was given a promotion. You heard me correct. That stupidity was given a promotion. And that stupidity also tanked a case 2 months prior to. So this Sergeant David Stivers, that's now Lieutenant David Stivers, because Pima County Sheriff is corrupted and he wants his friends, no matter what, heading and leading the departments despite their ignorance and dissuasive history, right? They don't have the merit to lead these departments, yet he's hiring them and promoting them, even though they're being written up for shoddy work. And he calls this the best team he's got, which is laughable. Even the CSI, the crime scene, right? The forensic crime scene unit was a joke. It was a joke. And I truly don't believe that they processed that house thoroughly. And if they did, now the house was processed more thoroughly on the 4th, days later, when the FBI came in. And the FBI was finally allowed to be included in the case, of course, because we want to make sure we have the record very clear, because this liar right here likes to lie about the FBI and how involved they were at the beginning. He tries to say that he called them at the beginning. I believe he did. I believe they did call him immediately. I think that was part of their policies and procedures. I don't think he authorized that. I think that whoever's there, that they have a checklist and they went doot, 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 doot. But as soon as they got there, his right-hand man, Santos, is like, we don't like the feds. They tried to come after the boss. We know how Chris NANOS is. He would not like us playing nice with him. That's how it would have been, right like that. Santos is also the one that likes to violate people's constitutional and civil rights by ordering them arrest, even though they didn't break any laws. They're trying to make up laws to stifle freedom of speech and freedom of press. That's what they did. I hope those men go back out there to that property. I really do. I think they need to take a stand. If I was there, I would set up shop until they came and told me, and I'd be like, well, why can't I record here? What am I doing wrong? I don't have my car here. You guys leave me here without, I got a little cooler here with some drinks so I don't overheat, so I don't become, where I don't need to use your services. But how much more difficult do you want to make it for social media? They want to make it as difficult as possible in violation of their constitutional rights. This man doesn't believe the laws apply to him. He's a corrupt sheriff. He's a criminal, okay? Make no mistake, Chris NANOS, in my estimation, is a criminal that belonged in jail, not running a sheriff's office. Jail. I want to see this man in jail, but he'll never be, because he's been protected by the other corrupted individuals in his community, like the DA, like the judges, like the board of cowards that they've got out there. All of those people protect this man. Every time he's hurt or harmed a citizen, they've come to protect him. So you guys have an opportunity to change that. We're having elections in November. I guess we'll see what the palette is of these people out in Pima County. If they keep voting for the same thing, you deserve everything you get. And I'll be the first one to help advocate for it. You want more crime? I'll give you more crime. You want more bludgeoning, more grandmas ripped out of beds? Well, by God, let's start funneling some more criminals your way. If this is what you guys are going to be voting for, well, by God, we're going to give you everything you voted for. I think you deserve it if you voted for it, right? You're asking for it. I think it's time. It's time to stop. It's time to stop. So we have some issues here with Chris NANOS. We've had some major issues with Chris NANOS for quite some time. So let's go head on over here. There we go. Look at Miss Nancy. So let's hear. We're going to watch this little video, and then we're going to read the article as well, because the article always has more stuff in it.
The world can be a cruel and unforgiving place, and I know that you have tried to do things the right way. So I'm asking you, begging you, to do the right thing now.
A plea from Savannah Guthrie directly to her mother's kidnapper. It's now been 6 months since Nancy Guthrie was abducted from her home in the middle of the night. This morning, Savannah also releasing this new photo of Nancy, writing, quote, "We are begging for help. We are desperate. We need someone to come forward."
And that appears, if you guys want to know what the family is doing, that's all they're doing, okay? They threw some money at this, and she comes up on her channel, like, I don't know, once a month, once every 2 months, and says some spiel about her mom. And that's her part. That's all she thinks that she should do and needs to do. And she even wrote in a verbal thing that they've done their part. She truly, in her brain, in her noggin, believes they've done everything that they can do to bring her mom home. Even though they've never searched, they never sponsored flyers, they never paid for PIs. This very, very wealthy family that says that they care and love about their mother, they have been sitting back and watching law enforcement literally make a mockery out of the case and seem to be perfectly fine with it.
The Pima County Sheriff's Office has now released 2 ransom notes sent by Guthrie's kidnapper in full. While much of what's in there we've already known, the release really gives you an idea of the writer's change in tone. The first note, very chilling, addressed directly to Savannah and saying, quote, "If payment is not received, Nancy will be killed." The second note, however, a lot different, addressed to the entire Guthrie family. Quote, "We never intended to hurt her. We hope you can all find peace." Now, the Sheriff's Office says the notes have distinctive patterns of word choice, syntax, and phrasing, and provide insight into the person's mindset and motives. They're hoping someone familiar with the kidnapper recognizes their speech pattern from the writing and ultimately comes forward. Also, hope for a DNA match from a strand of hair found at the crime scene sent to an FBI.
Which we know is bullshit. No, nothing like that. So journalist says Chris NANOS avoided important questions on the Nancy Guthrie case. This was from several weeks ago, but we didn't cover it, and it needs to be covered. Wyatt Sharp, a journalist, we did cover that. We didn't even get through the whole interview. I think we need to go back to that Wyatt, and we just need to play it through to hear everything that Chris NANOS says, but I digress. So the Sharp Exchange joins News Nation Prime to discuss, and we watched this, the one-on-one conversation with Pima County, Arizona. Sheriff Chris NANOS. NANOS spoke to social media after his department released 2 ransom notes in relation to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, which hit the 6-month mark Saturday. And that's all she wrote. So I thought there was more to that story than that. Maybe it's because it's the video, and I don't feel like watching the whole video. Nancy Guthrie update, bad news as case reaches troubling new milestone. Thank you. Who was that? That was Leslie. Well, welcome. Come on in, guys. Come on in. It's nice to see you. If you guys, we got 404 people. This is a great time for me to take a little bit of a break and say, if you guys wouldn't mind hitting that thumbs up button, hyping, sharing this live to your friends that are also into true crime. We cover these cases typically outside of the last two and a half years. We cover these cases from the roadside. We're usually out in front of their houses, and we're usually commentating if law enforcement are acting the way that they're supposed to and they're doing their job. In a case like this where they've fouled this whole job up, well, we would be commentating, but we would also be activists as well. So we would be getting picket signs, we'd be protesting the sheriff's department, we would be walking up and down the streets, we would be doing a lot of different types of activities in addition to our journalism, our independent journalism for each of these cases. But from here, We only have the ability to cover these cases, go over the details, and analyze this case from our perspective and provide that to you. The information I provide you on here is not for you to come to my side of the argument. I think the way I think, whether you think the way I think or not, okay? This isn't for me. I present the information, and it might be something to me, but it might be totally different to you. Just because you have differing opinions doesn't mean that we don't like you. We like all different types of opinions. What we expect from each and every one of our audience members here is for you to be adults. That means debate the issues, not the people. We don't want you calling each other names. We don't want you being disrespectful. I think that in true crime, we have enough of that. 90% to 99% of all of our cases are because people treat, actually 100% of these cases, all of these cases are because some human being chose not to treat another human being good. Okay? And that is why we're here. So we want to promote debate. We want to give you an outlet for your frustration and anger in our chat. But what we don't want to do is use our tongues to abuse other people here in the chat as well, because abuse is why we are all here covering these cases. Every single one of our victims have been abused one way or another. Otherwise, they wouldn't be victims. So please remember that while you're in chat. Our rule is, what we say for all of that is don't be a Richard. Okay, that's how we say it nicely. And if you want a shirt, yes, we do have a shirt that says "Don't be a Richard." It's reach out to Sonia. Reach out to Sonia, and it's a great shirt too. It is a great shirt. So Nancy Guthrie, the mother of NBC Today show host Savannah Guthrie, has officially been since February. And while Pima County Sheriff's Department and officials continue to search for her, the case has quietly passed a dark milestone. I don't know who constructed this sentence, but I gotta say this is the worst constructed sentence I think of. Is it me, or is that a terrible construction? Nancy Guthrie, the mother of NBC Today show host Savannah Guthrie, has officially been since early February. Has been since early February what? The mother of the Today Show, I think she was there since birth, if you ask me. This is a poorly written. Where's Miss Guthrie would be a nice shirt. There you go. There you go. Maybe we will do that. Where's Nancy Guthrie? Day 200 has come and gone in the search of Nancy Guthrie, and she's still missing. The case reached that trouble milestone over the weekend. When was this done? I think we passed that like a week ago, didn't we? No, I guess it was this last weekend. We went over the 200-day milestone. For whatever reason, I thought it was last week, like Wednesday or Thursday, but I digress. And she's still missing. The case has reached that troubling milestone this last weekend. Nancy was last seen on the evening of January 31st when she was dropped off at her home in the Catalina foothills. The following day, family members reported her missing after she failed to show up at church. Authorities believe Nancy was taken against her will. They believe she was taken against her will? Like these... It seems like it should be more factual than that. She was taken against her will. And the search for answers has now stretched on for more than 6 months. I wonder why. Could it help if they searched, say, the desert for her? I mean, where would they dispose of this lady other than the desert? Can somebody give me, where is there a good place to dispose of a body out in Pima County, Arizona? Is the desert the only place we could dispose of her? Because it seems like a really lucky guess, but it really upsets me that nobody bothers even going out there to look. Like, why haven't they drove planes or drones or helicopters and just did, crossing patterns? Why haven't they done something? The case has continued to generate new developments, including the release of footage investigators believe showed Nancy's alleged abductor at her doorstep. The doorstep that they didn't even bother picking up or forensically testing for weeks because they're idiots. And that goes straight to the crime scene investigators. The Pima County Sheriff's Department and FBI released footage as authorities continue working to determine what happened to Nancy after she disappeared. Despite the passage of time, there has still been no confirmed sign of her whereabouts. And it's not like law enforcement is out there actually searching for her, because they're not. They're not. They're sitting in their cushy offices in the air conditioning during summer because they don't want to break a freaking sweat. let's be honest why they ain't looking for this lady. On July 31st, the Pima County Sheriff's Department released 2 ransom notes, which, after they spent 6 months on these stupid ransom notes, finally releases them. And within a matter of a half an hour of seeing them, we realized they were bogus, bunk, infuriating. And of course, they ask for millions of dollars. They threaten Nancy will die if the money's not sent. And then the second one is basically claiming she died shortly after being taken and she's now buried with nature. And that brings us up to another conversation piece somebody sent to me. The whole buried in nature aspect of this. Let me see if I've got that in my... And I'll read this to you. There it is. There it is. So I thought this was interesting. Let me pull this right here. I thought this was fairly interesting. And this was something that was on one of our, it was a comment on one of our shows. Like, oh, it was the one from Alex James Barnett that we did, you know, when they thought this was Porch Guy, and we concluded that there's no way Alex could be Porch Guy. He's too big. And this person said, Dear Miss Betty, I'm not a member. I thought I would share some information with you. When the term buried in nature appeared, I did a search. Since we are all buried in nature, I found this phrase interesting. What I found out was an eye-opener. This isn't just a phrase. It is a green movement. You are 100% correct. They need to search the deserts. To be buried in nature, not legal in all states, but it is legal in Arizona, means the following. When a loved one dies, the family can do several things with the deceased. They can sew them into a quilt sheet, etc., then place the remains in the desert in a place of their choosing, near a tree, stream, partially buried, and then let nature take its course. They don't even have to wrap the body. They can take the remains as is and place it in nature, and let the elements and other things, animal life, do the rest. You are supposed to get permission, but in this case, not likely. Please look into this. They don't want to find her. The family has never personally searched. They don't want the Cajun Navy, EquiSearch, or cadaver dogs involved. The whole thing is suspicious. So this is a piece that I got from my from the email, and I thought it was quite interesting that we didn't know this. And I, you know, this whole buried in nature now might be, yeah, sew them, you know, like take a quilt and probably sew it up, you know, cover the body, sew it up, and then just take them out there. I don't think it means like sew their body into the quilt. It's not like what was that Silence of the Lamb? It's not Silence of the Lamb, okay? I just want to let you guys know it's not Silence of the Lamb. That was the wrong one to do. This is the one I wanted to do. It's not Silence of the Lamb, okay? But very interesting. It does kind of clarify this whole buried in nature. So let's do some buried in nature. Let's buried in nature law, Arizona. Okay, let's read it. Where do you draw the line in Nancy Guthrie's case with criminal behavior? Oh my God, the list is growing in my... You are not lying. You are not lying. So let's go ahead and the person's saying, you know, check this out. Let's check it out, right? I mean, why not? This is pretty stinking crazy. This is pretty stinking crazy. So let's hold up. And what we'll do here is just read this through and see what it all says. This person, oh, shoot, I didn't mean to do that. Let me try this again. Oops, did I do that? Yes, I did. I accidentally hit a button. Okay, there we go. I'll go back here and take this one out. So let's read this. Can you guys see it on the screen behind? Okay, good. You guys can. Okay, so Arizona natural green burials and human composting are completely legal. Oh my God. They call human beings composting. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my. Like, I don't even have a button for it. Do I have a button? Is this one? Composting. If you would like to compost your loved ones, just go to Arizona. Like, what the?
I'll see you in hell!
Apparently, it's completely legal. And the state has some most permissive laws in the country regarding how you choose to return the body back to nature. Two places I would check would be Savannah filmed where she was in nature. Interesting, I spy. Kuhneberger green burials are now a thing. Well, they've been a thing for a little while. You know, everybody wanting to be one in nature. I mean, people are just getting too cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I'm sick of our public education system. Can we please stop? I'm done with this psyop, okay? I'm done with the psyop government. I'm just saying, I'm done with it. I'm done with the psyop. Can we go back to normal teaching of our children now and get away from this kumbaya crap? We're never going to be kumbaya. Why? Because there's too many barbaric individuals in this world. So anyways, if you're part of the whole human composting, there are ways you can do it in Arizona. Natural and green burials. You are legally allowed to skip traditional modern practices like chemical embalming, concrete vaults, and metal caskets. Embalming, there is no state law requiring a body to be embalmed. Families can use dry ice or refrigeration instead. Containers, you can use biodegradable shrouds, wicker baskets, simple wooden caskets, or no casket at all. Cemeteries, you can choose a Green Burial Council certified cemetery. These range from hybrid cemeteries, conventional parks with green sections, to conservation grounds, protected wildlands. Oh, good gracious. Now we're going to get into the human composting. I do not like that word, human composting. Terramation, instead of cremation, terramation is what they call it. Arizona officially legalized human composting through the passage of House Bill 2081 called Grandpa in the Garden Bill. What? Grandpa in the Garden Bill. Let's see what this... Okay.
Death is not something a lot of people like to talk about, but when they do, they often have a strong opinion about what should happen to them when they're gone.
This is a greener way of going about cremation.
Will Humble is the former director of Arizona's Department of Health Services. He says a growing number of people across the country are choosing to have their bodies disposed of after death in a more environmentally friendly way. It's called human composting or natural organic reduction. Instead of someone being cremated, their remains are turned into fertile soil that can be used in a family member's garden or backyard.
People have different things that they want to do, and right now our statutes aren't aligned with what a lot of people want to do, which is to have their remains be handled in a way that's greener and more consistent with their values.
Right now, 7 states have laws on the books allowing human composting, and Arizona could be number 8. State lawmaker Lauren Hendricks has just introduced a bill, HB 2081, that some are calling the Grandpa in the Garden Bill. It would change Arizona's funeral services law to allow eco-friendly options as a way to dispose of a body after death.
So you guys get where we're going with this. So that's kind of where we're, so they officially legalized through the passage of that House bill. This process gently transformed human remains into nourishment-rich soil over several weeks. And I know you say this is absurd, but you know what? I'm actually, when they started taking human remains and like cremating them, you can take those cremations and have like a concrete, I don't know what they call it. It makes like these concrete little things, and you can have them dropped in the sea so they can be fish habitats. And so when that came out, I was actually, because I'm Floridian, I love water, you know, I don't want to have a need for a $20,000 or $30,000 burial. I think it's a waste of freaking money. I think you want to honor and stuff like that, but nobody's telling you in order to honor somebody, you need to go broke to have this, you know, this spectacular funeral. I mean, I don't come from I mean, I'm a flashy person, but flashy in the sense of actually wearing clothes that are flashy. Like I like clothes that have bling on them, right? I'm flashy like that, but I ain't flashy like that, you know? And I'm not good with throwing $30,000 away. You know, I'm not good with the whole casket thing. You know, I have a weird thing about the whole, you know, cremation aspect of it, of burning a body, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, becoming a fish habitat after death, I mean, that would be something I could get down with. And I guess if somebody wants to be buried with nature now, I guess that is their prerogative too. Interesting. Quite interesting. So whoever this was that brought this up, this is, again, a quite interesting a revelation that we never thought about before. This process gently transforms human remains into nutrient-rich soil over several weeks. The resulting soil can be legally taken to homes, used to nourish gardens, trees, or local ecosystems. Home burials or on private lands, Arizona has very loose state law regulations regarding home burials, but you must carefully navigate local rules. Family only, you can only bury related family members on your private property. Zoning laws, while there is no state law prohibiting backyard burial, local county or city zoning ordinance dictate whether it is allowed. For instance, in unincorporated Yavapai, I can't pronounce that word, county, you can establish a private family cemetery. I thought it was crematory. That sounded gross. But it requires a strict application fee and local approval process. The time and depth constraints, body must generally be buried within 24 hours, if not refrigerated or embalmed. A grave depth must be the depths of 3.5 to 4 feet is legal and standard to allow a natural decomposition while keeping the grave secure. The grave must be filed and registered with your local county recorder's office. You do not legally need to hire licensed funeral directors to oversee. I mean, this would make it a lot easier and a lot cheaper for you to bury your loved ones in Arizona. Right now here in Florida, I can tell you it's like $30,000 to have a funeral for a loved one. And I can tell you almost at least 65% of those deaths are not expected. That means people have not saved for it. Like, you know, you have an ailing parent or something like that, and you're taking care of them. You know, you got a few years, but you need to start making some arrangements in these few years of what's going to happen when it's time to make decisions, right? But many of these cases, people are just going on with their life and something happens. Somebody's heading to work and boom, they get in a car wreck and they don't make it home. Now you have unexpected, you're missing your loved one, you're grief-stricken over never seeing your loved one again, and then you're saddled with all the expenses of trying to show them honor and respect in the afterlife, you know, setting them off to the next dimension. It's very costly. It's very costly, but very interesting how that was all brought about. So the confirmations claim that adding another troubling element to an already difficult case, authorities have continued to investigate Nancy's disappearance while her family has been left waiting for answers. 6 months after the mother vanished, Savannah spoke publicly about the emotional toll the disappearance has taken on her family in the post on Instagram. 6 months ago, someone took her out of her bed in the dead of night. We have lived every moment, every breath, every heartbeat in agony and despair ever since, Savannah wrote. And we talked about this despair, because maybe this despair is the reason why they aren't searching. Because one of the things with Seth is he's not done. And his searching is not driven by despair, is hers. Ever since, so agony and despair ever since Savannah wrote, her words offer a glimpse into what the family has endured while the search continues. I don't know about you, but if I was in this despair, oh, thank you, Carol. We appreciate you. You'll definitely be entered into the package. We appreciate you, love. We appreciate you. We've got a care package that is being sponsored or whatever, but we appreciate. Thank you, Carol. God bless you for everything you're doing for our channel and our legal expenses. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And a lot of people have. Lisa B. Always is another one that has never stopped. I mean, even for all these months later, she's always given a little something something here and a little something something there. So all of you guys, I appreciate everybody that shows up every morning that helps generate revenue for this channel so we can get these expenses paid. I do appreciate it. So her words offer a glimpse into what the family is enduring. Now, I do believe that the family is in pain. I can't imagine any mother, unless you absolutely hated your mother, this would not be very painful to go through, okay? And there's not a lot of people. There are a few people that dislike their mother. I don't know if hate would be the best word to use for that, but I know there are a lot of people that have, issues with their mother. Their mother was either narcissistic, an alcoholic, a drug addict, not doing things. But not everybody's had that experience. The majority of us, we love our mothers. The majority of us, it's only a small little sliver of our population that has problems with their mother. And it's a small sliver of the population that has problems with their father. I know it seems like those things are overwhelming sometimes in the news, but be honest with you, the majority of people don't have these issues. The majority, okay? Only the minority. So this whole situation where we have a family that has been so far removed from the search of their mother, and is it possible that they really have convinced themselves that what they're doing is considered searching? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are they doing? Are they doing stuff behind the scenes? Because it doesn't seem like they're doing anything behind the scenes either. I mean, Savannah appears to be moving on with her life, even though every once in a while she comes back and says she's in agony. But when we see her on the Today Show, she seems happy and bubbly and back to her normal self. When we see her with photos, she seems to be bubbly. When she's talking about her new book, she seems to be bubbly. She doesn't incorporate how that book and how she's reading that book really resonates with her, especially this time of great pain and where she really needs to lean into her religion and stuff like that, and giving us little snippets of what her mom might say. You know how moms always have these little phrases they've told you over the years to get you through some hurdles and stuff like that. She doesn't really share any of that with us, and I would think that you would want to humanize, especially whenever you're dealing with an abduction, kidnapping for ransom, whatever. One of the biggest things is humanizing that person in that subject's mind. We never heard them do that. We never heard them talk about we heard, like, she did this one thing about her mother, with a video of her mother, but really just talking about who her mother was, the quirkiness, the happiness, even some of the, strict parenting she's done. You don't hear any of that. You hear nothing of humanizing Nancy. Still after 6 months, she still almost feels like a figment of our imagination, but this case is so wild that it still keeps our attention day in and day out, where we can come up here and talk about something probative with this case, and a lot of people tune into it because people are really invested in the outcome of this case. Super invested in the outcome of this case. The search for answers in Nancy Guthrie's case continues. For Nancy's family, 200 days without knowing what happened. And again, unless you hate your mother, this has to be super emotional. According to Arizona law, Annie could legally give Nancy a green burial in her yard. That's the way I interpret the law. Just saying, no, that's exactly the interpretation of the law. And it's exactly the interpretation of the law. So the Guthrie family, obviously, offering the $1 million. There's like upwards of $1.2 million on the books right now for any information that's leading to Miss Guthrie. The $1 million is whether she's dead or alive. Okay, they just want their mom back, and they're willing to pay for her. So that's what her daughter is doing. Do I want to read this one today or not? Do I want to wait until later? It's small enough. We'll go ahead and throw this one in here too. All right, guys. So here's they got even a little. Oh, I wanted to show you guys something. You know what? I didn't even notice this yesterday, but these have audios on them. Did you guys know that? I didn't know that. The Substack, you can listen to it. You do not have to read it if you didn't want to. Listen, and it's got like a calming voice too. Let me play it.
They said they were cleared. Nobody ever cleared them. I watched every interview they gave in 2024.
Kind of cool, huh?
The story does not hold still. By Bullhorn Betty. Let me start with the only thing in this case nobody argues about. On the night of February 25th, 2024, a 15-year-old boy named Sebastian Rogers went into a house in Hendersonville.
I just wanted you guys to know that even if you guys are working around the house and you want to support our Substack, on all of our Substacks, there's I didn't realize this, but they turn this into audios for all of my articles. I thought that was pretty cool. Again, I'm working on another article. I was trying to get it. I've been up since like 3 o'clock this morning. I was hoping to have it finalized for upload this morning, but it's not. This one right here is not getting enough viewership, but this is almost the most important story we have on the Substack thread, because this addresses the lights and Chris's behavior related to those lights and how the heck he was the one that tried to stifle those lights. Those lights really, I mean, outside of us talking and speculating, we've never really analyzed those lights like what we should have. I mean, we analyzed the location and stuff like that, but the story that law enforcement gave us does not hold water. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. It's 11-minute read. And now
the night Sebastian's stepfather went on TV and killed a lead. Somebody showed the parents police video. Then the parents went on camera and told the rest of us what it didn't show. By Bullhorn Betty.
It reads the
whole thing. It was somewhere past 1 a.m. when I finally understood what I was looking at. I'd been going through interviews for weeks by then. 8 of them. Local news, national morning shows, Nancy Grace, 3-hour live streams with independent...
So there's the newest post on this. You guys are going to want to read it. You guys are going to want to read these lights. The one about going through all their contradictions that I read I had wrote before, the day before. This one here is really getting into the nuts and bolts of statements that they're saying. And I'm going to continue. Today's article is not about this. It's about Nancy Guthrie. But we did throw 3 free articles because we're trying to get some more viewership back on the Sebastian Rogers case as the case is starting to heat up. That case has never been solved. We've been involved in it since almost day one. So we want to circle back. It's a case that has caused this channel great grief. I've went to jail, never been to jail covering a case before, but I went to jail for this one because they had a corrupt county, a corrupt DA, and a corrupt judge, and assholes holding all the keys to the cards. And Chris is a very violent, threatening person. He tries to use his intimidation and his stature to get compliance. He's never dealt with a woman like me, okay? The man doesn't do shit for me, okay? And I'm definitely not scared of Christopher Proudfoot, okay? He thought he was going to be able to shake my tree. Now I'm shaking his. And I'm doing a very, very good job of it because he deserves it. When you start using court systems improperly against people, you deserve everything you get. You deserve everything you get. And that's exactly what happened. So we're going to be writing about this case. Again, we're raising money for the court expenses. We're getting there. We're getting there. We raised about $700 so far on our Give, Send, Go. We've raised about another $600 or $700 through the this system here, but you have to remember a portion of that, about 35% or 45%, goes to YouTube when we pay on here. But we've raised about another $600 or $700 through our donations in our chat. And then we got the just little nuggets here. People are still sending some little bite-sized pieces of, like $5 here and stuff that to Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, and all those. So we're getting it. It is all adding up, folks. I know it looks like we're not doing anything, but when you add all of these different little things, did you say? Thank you, love. When you add up all these little things, they do make a difference. They do make a difference. We are working through these expenses, folks. So we're getting there. We just need a little more help, and I think that's why we're asking Sonia to put people. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to adjust the buy-in for that package of stuff. I think $50 might just be a little too high. But I think like maybe if we do like $20 or $25, I'll work with the team, because it's all about raising money and then pulling a name, and you got somebody winning the jackpot, and the jackpot is a bag, a shirt, and a cup. They're nice products. Okay, I can tell you this is not cheap Temu products. This is coming from Sonia's shop, so they're quality products. They don't fade. I mean, this has already went through the dishwasher. Okay, I just want you guys to see. And she's probably saying, no, Betty, we don't put them through. I don't know if we're allowed to put them through the dishwasher or not, but I put mine through the dishwasher and they seem to be just fine. They seem to be just fine. If I have things to clean stuff for me, I'm putting it, okay? If I had to wash my clothes by hand, I would be buying a lot of clothes, okay? If I have to wash my dishes by hand, I wouldn't, I don't do that. I throw everything in the dishwasher. Occasionally, I'll hand wash something. Occasionally. Thank you for all who donated. Absolutely. Absolutely. So we do appreciate it. And we're going to continue to go on with our show today. We've got a lot to go over today. We know that the Guthrie family are hurting. Their mother, I can't imagine being in this situation, but there's a difference between me and us and them, okay? And the difference is if our mother was missing, we would be out there in the desert, okay? There's not a law enforcement body in this country that would stop me from searching for my family, okay? Period. I don't care. I don't care if you're the FBI, Secret Service. You're not going to tell me to go sit down and shut up. You got the wrong one, okay? My family's missing. Where did they go missing from? That's where our investigation starts. Don't step on my toes. I won't step on yours. Don't search in my areas. I won't search in yours. That's going to be the rule. If anybody in my family goes missing, you stay out of my way, I stay out of your way. I'll send you what I get. If you want to send me what you get, that's fine. Otherwise, I'll find it myself. That's my mentality. I go over you, under you, or around you. Okay? What I will not do is have somebody that is not me stop me from doing something I want to do. Why? Because they have no control. Not even law enforcement. I don't have a dishwasher. Yes, you do. You are the dishwasher. You are the dishwasher. Sweet Caroline's ready to smack me. You are the dishwasher. I have a dishwasher, so I don't have to be the dishwasher. And I'm still the dishwasher some days. Because you know what? It's difficult to do dishes in a dishwasher for a single person. So I'm constantly having to wash my plates off and pretty much put them into the dishwasher clean. But I don't feel like, getting a soapy bucket of water. So I'm lazy like that. And it feels good. I don't know where we can go from here. What could we do? What could we do in this case differently than we've done? We know that the guys are out there searching. We know that they've got a lot of crime around them, so they're being pulled in all different directions, such as this officer that was shot and killed in his own home. They're out there on the scene covering that case, trying to find if this could leak back to Miss Nancy Guthrie's. But there's so much stinking crime out there, and everybody has this same general description as porch guy. Literally, we could fit just about any person with olive skin and brown eyes in this picture and call them a porch guy if they're average built and average height. I mean, that's how freaking. In my opinion, this suspect looks. He looks so average. He looks so average. That's going to be our biggest problem. Did you see that one guy with the A tattoo? Look at him. If he had his neck covered up and you would think he was any other guy, right? You wouldn't think anything about him. Definitely would not consider him to be worthy of being part of a homicide of an officer. So these people look like your neighbors. They look like your friends. They look like your family. And they're homicidal maniacs that can kick in a door and murder a 23-year-old little boy. And I'm going to call him a little boy because these people are 33 and 39 years old. And that's a kid to them. They can go in there and kick in his front door and shoot him in front of his own freaking kid. You have no idea what I'd like to do to these guys at all. I mean, I wouldn't feel as emotional as I feel about this case if a child wasn't inside that house. You know, it is what it is if it wasn't a child inside. Not that they should have crime like this. I'm going to tell you folks in Arizona, you do not have to live like this. And let me tell you why I know that. Because I live in the state of Florida where we have 27 million crackpots, okay? I'm included in one of those crackpots that I'm talking about, okay? But we have 27 million crackpots in this state. And we don't live like Arizona. And Arizona's in the middle of a freaking desert. I just want to put that into perspective, folks, because sometimes I feel like people are manipulated. They're accustomed to living such a certain way that they don't realize there is better way. There is ways to live with less crime, like hiring a law enforcement body that actually wants to cut down on crime, not give it an excuse, not give it a pass, and not let it walk out of the jails on a bond when there should be no bonds for those types of crimes. You don't have to live in this craziness, folks. Guys in Arizona, you don't have to do this. The people, your representation is forcing you to live like this. You get people in office that are wanting to be tough on crime. I promise you, in 5 short years, this will all be flipped around. Wouldn't you guys rather make decisions in November to start changing the course of the direction of Arizona? Now would be a great time to start changing the direction of your state, correcting it. Because you guys are in danger. I can't imagine. And we have a friend, we have a family member, right? A coffee club family member that literally lives in Tucson, Arizona. Okay? Sweet Misery is one of our Tucson, Arizona people. And she's got to live in this. And think about this. If crime can happen to Miss Nancy Guthrie, could crime happen to Sweet Misery? You darn right. And how personal would it be for us for it to be Sweet Misery? If something happened to Sweet Misery, I would lose my ever-loving you-know-what. And that is no joke. That is no joke. Hold on, let me see what we got here. I'm good if you want to change the... Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think we need to do just something. I think $50 is a little high for that. I think because the idea is that you get multiple people, so everybody pays a little fee but gets a huge package. So I think we'd probably be better at like $20 or $25. I think that would probably be better. But we'll try it. Anyways, we have a beautiful package of stuff for it. So we didn't get anywhere really with this show on the fundraiser, but tomorrow we'll try it with a different amount and see if that helps generate some help on these. And I still want to hear yes, Melody, thank you. Yes, and we still want to hear the 911 call. If they truly believe that Savannah Guthrie and Tommaso are cleared, why can't they release the 911 call? Because usually the reason why they don't release the 911 call is to protect the identity of a suspect or person of interest or a witness, right? But in this case, we know who made the call, so there's none of that's needed. So why haven't they released the 911 call? What would be in that 911 call that at this point would be that would go to the integrity of the investigation? I think that you know what one of the reasons why they may not have released the 911 call. I'm thinking this as I'm playing the tape through in my mind. The only reason why I can think that they haven't released the 911 call is for two reasons. One, he's a control freak. Okay, Chris Nanos is a freaking arrogant, narcissistic psychopath. So he's got a control freak problem and a short man syndrome. So it could just be because he just wants to push his weight. People want it and he has control. He doesn't want to release it. There is that. Okay, and that is really a problem. Seriously, with this sheriff, that could be a good possibility. But I would presume that it would be more inclined or in line with maybe there's more details that have not been released to the public. For example, we know that there's a blood trail out the front door, and we now know that there were flower pots open, propping the gate open and the back door. We don't know what else was said on that 911 call. What if they also indicated that the sliding glass door was open to her bedroom, or that there was another bizarre event we don't know about that's contained inside the interior of that home that we've never seen? So those would also be a probability. But, again, Chris Nanos just having control and wanting that control, and that's like my number one. Like, I believe that's why we really don't have the 911 call. But there is this number two that could possibly be that we know about certain things that they saw at that scene. There might be other things that they addressed in that 911 call we know nothing about. Nothing about. And so that might be the reason why we don't have that 911 call. So but again, I can't say that. Oh, thank you, Outer Banks. I have some new information for you. If I send you an email, would you read it? Yes. Depending on, I have to read it first and make sure it's kosher. Yes, send it to me and I will read it. You got a few moments to send it to me because we're getting we got a couple more little talking points, and then I will be closing down the show. We got about another, 15 to 20 minutes before we're closing the show down. So stick with me. Guys, I really do appreciate everybody that came over here today. We have 403 people right now in our chat. For our concurrent viewers, if you guys have not already hit the thumbs up button for me, would you please consider hitting that thumbs up button for me? This is a great way for our channel to be seen and heard. We do cover a lot of great information on this show. We try to dig a little deeper, and we will, now that I'm on this channel or on this new computer, I might be able to incorporate maybe some panels now that I'm not having so many technical issues. Like so far, the last 2 days have been a breath of fresh air with OBS. I didn't understand why anybody would use this system as difficult as it was, but I should have known. I hate Apple products because they make everyday stuff difficult. So we got the Windows-based, and so far this program loves Windows-based software, and it has been working like a complete, utter dream. So very happy with that. Very, very, very happy with that. So yes, send me the information. I will definitely read it. I'll read it out loud if you can get it to me in the next 10 minutes. And why haven't they told us how long it took the garage door to open when Nancy was leaving? That's a great point. Unless she went out the front door. But that's a great point. These are all the types of questions that we should be able to ask questions to, but let's not get it twisted. Chris NANOS doesn't want to answer us. He wants to only work with these corrupted mainstream media from his local market. He gave Wyatt Sharp a opportunity, but even then it seemed like he was uncomfortable being questioned by a high school student. And then we have other reporters talking about how Chris wouldn't answer questions, or just, got away from questions that were being asked. He didn't want to be held accountable for his statements. And it's just like, he's the sheriff. He is a voted person. He's a politician. He should absolutely be held accountable to his words, and he should absolutely be speaking. That's what he was hired to do, to keep the public informed of these criminal cases. Otherwise, why do we need to vote for a sheriff? Doesn't make any sense. Why would we ever have to vote for a sheriff if it wasn't for a purpose that was a direct result or activity toward the public? We wouldn't need to vote for them if they weren't there to represent us. So this sheriff has been hired to represent the community, and he is just not. And it's very, very, very frustrating. All right, let me look in my emails and see if Outer Banks has sent an email. Outer Banks, where's your email? Let's refresh. Still haven't received it. I'll keep waiting. Hey, Strawbirdie. Well, good morning. We have Strawberry Nana. Nana, I think it's Nana. I think it's Nonna, but it might be Nana. It might be Strawberry. And I kept wanting to call her Strawbirdie the other day. Don't ask me why. I swear. It was like just yesterday or the day before. And I'm like, oh, good gracious. Oh, good gracious. Toother Sleuther, it's nice to see you. His drama degree sure hasn't paid off. Yes, it has. He's great at lying. He was able to lie for 40 years. Can you imagine being able to carry a lie for 40 years? I'm 46, and I just, I used to be able to keep a lie, but I don't think I could keep the lie for 40 years. Now I just don't give a crap. I mean, I don't have it. I feel like at this point, I'm 46 years old. Nobody owes me a damn thing. I don't owe anybody a damn thing. I don't have to lie about crap. If people don't like it, oh well. It ain't you, it's me, boo. Right? That's the 40, 50-year-old version of yourself. If you're not quite there yet, you'll get there. You'll get there. I'm just hoping on the other side, when I get to 50, that maybe the bitchiness will kind of go away. I'd like to be like I'd like to have my sweetness back, but I think I might be too sour for it at this point. I think life has kicked me around too many times. I don't know. We're still hopeful. Christine says, Nanos is probably waiting for more talking points from the family. I bet you're right. I bet you're right. Oh, good gracious. So we had a poll going. 324 people went. So, oh no! My audience is so good at looking into the future and seeing the results. I mean, I got to tell you, it's a large number of how many answers my audience gets right. And I put out here, are you still confident that Nancy Guthrie's case will be solved? 60% of my audience says no. I'm telling you, you guys are spot on in many cases. That gives me chills. I don't want that to be the result of this, but I'm telling you, you guys are smart. When I put stuff out there, for example, here's a great example. Oh, spicy disaster. Sorry, it doesn't go away. Yeah. Listen to this. So, and you guys know this because most of you guys were here, but we did a poll on I ran a story on Jason Colhart. It was just a small little story. It got a little bit of social media. It kind of went semi-viral, but not. It got notoriety, but not Nancy Guthrie status notoriety. And it was Jason Colhart. He was 43-year-old man, tall, slender man, and it seems like he was an electrician, a licensed electrician in the state of Florida. He kind of was on again, off again with the substances and the partying and the alcohol, and he lived himself in a small little apartment, and he befriended Isabel. We don't quite know the relationship, and I gave you guys my opinion early on in the case, but long story short, she was on the run, and there was a manhunt, like almost a 2-month manhunt for her, trying to find this little 5'3", $120, good looking young, older girl, younger girl, kind of, 30-ish area. I think she was 36 or something like that, still fairly young. And so she was affiliated with Florida, where the crime happened, up in the Panhandle, which was near Alabama and Georgia, and she has ties to both Alabama and Georgia. We heard from law enforcement in a report that they believed that she had made it up to Athens, Georgia, but I decided to do a poll in my chat. And this is law enforcement saying that they believe she made it up to Athens, Georgia. And just out of pure fun, I decided to put into the chat, did she, or do you believe she's still in Florida, Georgia, or Alabama? Overwhelmingly, my audience said Florida. 2 months later, she was captured in Jackson County, Florida. My audience was right. And so seeing this result from our poll, that 60% believe that we're not going to solve this case, it felt my heart drop into my stomach a little bit, because I'm so confident that my audience is fairly spot on. I know that there's some things we get wrong, but fairly spot on. And I feel like, we've been watching this case for so long, and we're up an uphill battle because of the handling of this case initially. And we're hoping, oh yeah, shirt for a cause. Yeah, we're raising money for my legal expenses with the Sebastian Rogers case. We're trying to raise $5,000. We got a $12,000 bill, and we're just needed $5,000 raised to cover that bill. I got the majority of the bill covered, and I've been covering about 60% of all of our legal expenses, and just trying to get the audience to cover about 40% of those. It's hard. It's hard. We've had a lot of expenses with the Sebastian Rogers case. But Sebastian Rogers and Miss Nancy Guthrie, I've been talking about together in part with the investigation. I thought both of them were bunk investigations. I thought they were very incompetent. My brain's just drawing blank right at the moment, but these cases were terribly done. The investigation at the very beginning of both of these cases really set the tone for the rest of the case. And both of these cases, Sebastian hasn't been solved in 2.5 years, and that just seems like it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, and law enforcement can't even get it. It's irritating. It's irritating, and it's frustrating. And then we have this one out here in Arizona, which is just a mind scratcher as is. And the problem here is we probably would be much further along if law enforcement knew what the hell they were doing at the beginning. When you lose that time, you lose the evidence, it's gone, and it's gone forever. They had reins and everything else before they finally started taking the evidence from the front of that door, on the outside of that door. I don't know what crime scene investigators were taught to do that, but if this was a crime scene investigation here in Manatee County, somebody would have lost their job. Somebody would have lost their job. This was terrible. It was that terrible. I'm almost convinced that if had this happened in Florida, there would be several people fired directly because of the handling of this investigation. So that's where we kind of are in this case. I want to thank everybody. Carol, thank you so much for your love and support. I really do appreciate that. I hope everybody has a great week and a great day. This afternoon, we're talking about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. We've got several new articles that I wrote that I want to go over with you. I want to have some conversations. If you guys have not gone over to my Substack, please consider supporting me on the Substack. Again, as soon as we're done off here, I'm going to try to finish up that article. It's not quite there yet. It might be another hour and a half before it's fully ready, but I hope you guys do support this. The article I'm writing today is about Nancy Guthrie. Okay. That will be on, I will do, even though we've done 3 days of free articles, I will do this article free for today, but tomorrow my Nancy Guthrie articles are going to be paid. I'm alternating them. Anything to do with Sebastian Rogers due to the age of his case are all going to be free reads for you. I'm setting those on free to everyone to read, but the stuff that I'm doing for like this one here has taken me forever to write. So this one here, I would love to put on paid, but I'm giving this to you to kind of bring you guys over to that account and start reading our publications. And again, if you don't want to read them, they have a little button that you can be working, cleaning the house, doing work with your earbuds in and listening to the articles. So I hope you guys get over there, check out our account over there. And if you guys have any talking points on Nancy, oh, hey, thank you. Okay, great. She got the email over here. Okay, we got it. Okay, so Voices for the Missing is a mailman. These 2 pieces of mail came to Annie's house. One is from Arizona ACP, which is addressed to a different person not residing at Annie's house. Are they in hiding or are they being charged? Or are they being charged of these things? Ivac was at their house taking pictures. A VAC? What is a VAC? The Arizona Address Confidentiality Program. Okay, so Arizona Confidentiality Program, ACP, is a program that helps victims of domestic violence, sexual offenses, or stalking from being located by the perpetrator through public records. The program provides a substitute address and confidential mail forwarding services to individuals and families across Arizona. How the program works. But they also just moved into that residence, didn't they? Could this be something that maybe just sent to them from somebody not changing their address after they moved? These pieces of paper came from Annie's house, or came to Annie's house. One from Arizona ACP, which is the Address Confidentiality Program, which is addressed to a different person not residing at Annie's house. Are they in hiding? Or are they being charged? Very interesting. The question, I know you probably know this, Outer Banks, I don't know. Are they in hiding? Well, it seems awfully funny that they've disappeared. Many of us, we would raise eyebrows because this is the same behavior, again, Chris and Katie decided to take. And you know what? Again, Nancy Grace came down on Chris and Katie for these decisions, but she supports the decisions when they're her friends. I don't like the hypocrisy. Just me personally, I like standards. I like to know that everybody is held to the same standard, right? I don't want this person having a different standard from this person. I think that it complicates things. It is a double-edged sword when you start doing that. I like policies and procedures. I like knowing that every case is handled the exact same way. If we frown upon one parent leaving or one family member leaving in the middle of an investigation, we should frown when another family member from another case leaves the investigation or leaves town and stuff like that. At the end of the day, these are, in my opinion, actions of consciousness of guilt. And when we see these, we have problems with them. But it seems like for certain class of people, mainstream media likes to wag their finger at us and tell us, shame us for thinking that this person could do that. But just on the flip side, and the perfect example I have, and the reason why I'm picking on Nancy Grace is not to pick on Nancy Grace, it's because she did have the Proudfoots on her channel. You know, she did have the Proudfoots on her channel. So if she had the Proudfoots on her channel, Nancy's house is in a new name too. Nancy's house is in a new name. Well, we've been hearing that it's possible that they were preparing the house for sale, and I'm like, I would think that they would have too many looky-loos, but is it possible that they put it in a trust? Is it possible that they had a quiet sale of the house? People say that they can't have a sale of the house unless she's dead. That's not true. When you're affluent, like Miss Guthrie, I can tell you that probably by the time you're 50 or right before retirement, you start setting up your estate. You start getting your healthcare surrogate. You start getting your will, and people like me that have went to school for law, like I became a paralegal many moons ago. One of the first acts I did as a paralegal was prepare my will and my wills, trust, and estates for my own personal. I had that all set up when I was 18 years old because it was just something that I knew was the right thing to do because of the education I got. So I went ahead and did that. Some of that work needs to be redone. I haven't done it in years, but I do need to set it aside and start doing it. But what it does is it gives exactly Arizona Raven a durable power of attorney to the person that I have selected, which my old paperwork shows my dad. My new paperwork will not. I haven't changed it yet. But my father can, if I'm incapacitated, he could basically take everything from me and put it in his name. Now, there is some laws against, benefiting from stuff like that. But yes, there is the ability for them to sell her house. And the family, again, I don't know if the crime happened there. To be honest with you, for them to try to sell the house would be, in my opinion, foolish. Because they don't know what they have to go back in there for. But the other thing is I haven't seen huge moving trucks coming in there, and she's got furniture and personal effects and everything else that might be near and dear, including keepsakes from her grandchildren, her children when they were younger. I don't see them doing all that without going in there and cleaning that house out thoroughly. We did see them take some things out earlier on. We did see all that happen, but that wouldn't have been enough. In my opinion, deceased family members or the brother who's named for his father, maybe, I don't know, the name of her father or her brother because it's the same name. It's still in the name as name. I don't know which it is, but I'll check it. I'll run some stuff and see whose name it's in, but I don't think it's changed. I haven't seen any indicators yet, but I haven't been paying attention to that aspect, Okay, we're hearing that Nancy's still the owner, so there may be some of that. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So we still have some questions, though. We still have some questions about that. Why is Annie getting mail from that Arizona address confidentiality program? Very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. And wouldn't that be, oh, here, I know you're, yeah. All right, thank you, Outer Banks, I appreciate you. So there you guys have it. Where do we go from here with this case? Well, first of all, I think it's going to be prudent for law enforcement to do two major things. One, start getting a search area and get out there in the desert and search. And two is starting to change, and these are all suggestions made by Jennifer Coffindaffer, a retired FBI agent that has a channel. I think it's Breaking the Case with Jennifer or Breaking the Case with Jen. Please go over there and sub her up. I highly respect her opinions. I don't always agree 100% with her, and I'm confident she does not agree 100% with me. So, but it's nice to hear their experience. It's nice to hear what they believe happened, whether we adopt what they believe happened or not. This is all theory based right now. We don't really have facts really supporting a whole lot, but by the activity of them just, putting theories out there and seeing what holds water and what doesn't is really, in my opinion, good. Now, is the family house going to be sold? In all fairness, I know it's their whole entire childhood, but as much pain that house has to it, I don't know if they could, keep it. I don't know. And, and I try to play the tape through for me. If my father died when I was a young girl and my mom kept that house, and where that has been a safe place for me to go for, 4 decades, that might be one thing. But then to have my mother basically murdered and ripped out of her bed in that house, I think that would put too much pain, on that house, that all the good in that house or that house had would be, it would just diminish all the good times. That kind of bad times, it would really drown out all those good times. I don't know. I just don't see how the family would want this house after all this. Why sell it now? Well, I don't think they're selling it now. I really don't. But I think at some point they're going to, and I probably wouldn't blame them for doing so. I don't think they're going to do it right now for 2 reasons. One, there's still the criminal investigation. They don't know what else law enforcement may need to look at in the house, and right now it's just being locked down. They don't have any need to sell the house right now. The other reason why I don't think they would sell the house right now is the obvious reason, the looky-loos, right? We know Chris and Katie would probably love to sell their house and probably, skip out of Tennessee as quickly as possible. But they know as soon as that house is listed, they would have every content creator around this country coming to look at the house, and look inside the house and walk the property and look at the property. It's not conducive for selling. It's conducive for looky-loos. And that's exactly what you're going to do. And you could say, well, we could put, somebody can be pre-approved. Are you kidding me? Do you know how many content creators that could be pre-approved for Nancy Guthrie's house, or be pre-approved for Sebastian Rogers' old house, his mom's house, current house? There's a lot of people on these platforms that could get pre-approval letters from their bank and get inside those houses. It doesn't change the fact they're still looky-loos and not a legitimate buyer. And that's exactly what you would be, inviting in at this juncture if you were trying to sell the house, much like the Proudfoot. If they tried to sell the house, they would be met with a lot of people going in there and being looky-loos just to get some information about the case. AJ Double J says the boy is in school. His son is in the same class as A is still around. Okay, so what we're finding out is it looks like Annie's son is in the same class as AJ's son, it sounds like, and they're in the same school. And so the boy's been there. So they're saying that Annie and Tommaso have to still be around. Very interesting. I wonder why they're not in their home. I mean, it's not like people are camped out in front of their house. There's no reason why they can't be there. Chris, it's his nephew. I believe it's not his son. So we have some people believe that it's the nephew of Tommaso versus Annie and Tommaso's son being in the school. I wonder what's going on here. Annie and Tommaso, that does bother me a little bit, because they never really got a whole lot of people outside of their house. Yeah, they got a few at the beginning. So what? Okay, it happens. They have a viral case. Their sister's famous. They should be used to the limelight from their sister, right? They don't have a problem with it. Cameras stuck in their face when they're out at El Charo, but somehow when their mother goes missing, they have a problem with people talking about their mother's case. So I don't like the vibe I'm getting from Annie and Tommaso, but again, it's not enough to make me jump ship on prior statements. And I've always promised you, if there was something that popped up that brought Annie and Tommaso back to the table, we would explore it. We haven't had anything new come up. We've had a lot of stuff about Luke and Carlos. We've talked about them. I've gotten away from Luke was my prime. I've gotten a little bit away from Luke. But I haven't let him go completely. I haven't let him go completely. Clay Couch, I feel like we need to find out whether he was in jail or not in jail. That's going to be an important person. We don't know what we're dealing with until we get here. And then, of course, we have Jorge, which was just arrested in another home invasion murder, homicide, and he's in jail, and many people are looking at him thinking he could possibly be the porch guy. He was the accomplice with Alex James Barnett, 6 foot tall, 6'2", 315-pound biker. Definitely not the porch guy, but his accomplice could be. His accomplice looks like it, but I truly believe the light-colored eyes of his accomplice would have been very obvious on the black and white image of the doorbell footage. So I don't believe it is Jorge, but again, it's still up for speculation. So that is kind of where we are with our cases, folks. We went over a few cases that we have, breaking news cases, criminal Al network, like the hangout in front of the house. Yeah, and he has a right to. He has a right to. And he should have. And Chris NANOS and the Guthrie should have never violated people's constitutional rights. They have to follow the law just like everybody else. They're not special. Savannah Guthrie, I know you're in pain, but guess what? It doesn't mean you're special. It doesn't mean that you get benefit that nobody else in America gets. Okay? First Amendment is First Amendment. Constitutional and civil rights are not to be messed with, whether it makes you uncomfortable or not. And I can say that having empathy for what you're going through. But what I will not put up with is somebody intentionally and willfully causing harm to somebody else that is not doing anything wrong or breaking the laws, despite what people think. Whether you like the way they were handling their business, their commentary, or their behavior, none of it was illegal. Period. None of it was illegal. None of it. And what they did to these 3 boys was unconstitutional. And Savannah is part of that. So while her family's running around, God knows where, doing nothing to lift a finger to help find her mother, the people that are keeping her mother's name alive each and every day, she's wanting to stifle their voice. I have a lot of concerns with this whole the family's cleared thing, and I think a lot of people in my chat do as well. I'm not accusing anybody in the family of doing any wrongdoing, but somebody needs to explain this, I think. Anyways, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe. But more importantly, kind to one another, guys. Thank you. We will be back later this afternoon around 4 p.m. Might be 3 p.m., but 4 p.m. to discuss Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers and the new updates of the shenanigans. Of course, yours truly, Christopher Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot, and their deplorable, immoral behavior as always. The two that in this case that keep on giving all of the bull crap and drama. It's the mom and the stepfather. So we will be reviewing everything that they have to say. There is a lot to be had from Elevated, but I can't get past all the cussing. So we're gonna flip the script and go through some of the articles that I wrote and have some talking points on that and listen to Katie and Chris crying. I know we wanted to hear Elevated Truth. I can't deal with them anymore. I'm sorry. Again, I don't want, and not only that, but I feel like Elevated Truth is kind of, making a turn where he's trying to do the right thing, even though he's done terrible things in the past and he needs to own up to those. I feel like he's trying, and I don't want to be the one that puts my foot on the back of his neck when he's trying to do the right thing, even though he made terrible decisions before. So I think for a break of Elevated, I think would be appropriate here. And I would really like to see, at the end of the day, it's Chris and Katie, right? If they had stuff and harbored that information from the public on the behalf of Chris and Katie, well, that's something Elevated Truth is going to have to live with, okay? This was a young boy. He deserved better. And if that's going to be his fate, it's going to be his fate. And it's going to carry with him. It's going to cause him problems from this point forward on this platform. And I hope he's prepared for that. But he did it to himself. And it's just sad that he did. But we are going to go over Sebastian Rogers later this afternoon and go over all the new elements that I'm seeing, including the obstruction I'm seeing. We need to understand what obstruction of justice is, and we were trying to explain it when my system was going down the last time. So we're going to be doing like a take 2 of the last Sebastian Rogers show we did, okay? We're going to do a take 2. And we're going to go over everything all over again because it was just so fouled up the last time. We had so many problems. I've got this Windows-based program, or this Windows-based computer going, and it's amazing. So I'm very pleased. I literally don't have to wait. If I shut this down right now, you know, like when I have to reset something, you know how we have to wait 10 minutes? We don't have to do that on this computer. It goes down and it comes right back up. Guys, please, please, please do not forget, we do, as a family, we are going to be going over tomorrow night. This is at, just look here. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Tomorrow night, 33 hours away. And we're going to be over supporting Mr. and Mrs. E. Their middle son lost his battle with cancer. Bright, loving young man. They just have a wonderful, great family. And I know this has been very hard for them. I know this has been very hard for the true crime community that has known and loved them. And we have tried to support and do everything we can just to find ways to honor Middle E. And we want to continue to do that. And part of our duties here on this platform is supporting our content creators, especially the ones that are struggling. So if you are a coffee club member, I'm hoping that everybody that's on the coffee club side here tomorrow night at 8 p.m. is on Mr. and Mrs. E's panel. So please, please, please come out, show out, throw some orange hearts up in the chat for them, and just immerse them in love and support. Immerse them in love and support, because they surely do need it, and they deserve it. They deserve it. They're great people. They're great people. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. We'll see you on the flip side.